This song slaps. I don't care what anybody says. Pew, 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 pew. Okay, listen, I'm done now. What is up? How are y'all doing? Welcome back to the Audra Rains Show. It is me, your host, Audra Rains, and I have brushed my teeth. I have also washed my face, and I may or may not be wearing pants. You're welcome. All of these are set up in my podcast format if you just want to listen, and that's fine. So, hi, welcome in. I am wearing makeup. Now, listen, here's the first thing. I'm going to be talking about Love is Blind, but I'm not going to be doing a recap because honestly, there are so many like fantastic creators that did recaps. You can watch Jessie Woo's recap of it. And there's this other, oh gosh, I can't remember her name, but I love her and her recaps are pretty amazing. Let me get on my phone right quick and look. I thought I was going to be prepared. You know, I'm never prepared. Preparation is not a thing that I do here. Thank you. I make attempts, but I'm not always good at it. Hello, Fifi. Hello, Heather. Hi, Janet. Hi, Felisa. Hi, Nadia. Hi, Lucifer. So I went a little bit more extra than usual with the makeup today because I was in Jen Love's chat and they're talking about like being old, like wearing eyeshadow is being old. And I chalk it up to the fact that Gen Z doesn't really watch YouTube. So that's where it comes from. My opinion. It's my opinion and I'm allowed to have it. Thank you. But what if I remember the creator, I'll bring her up because she has really good recaps of the show. Her channel grew exponentially when she was talking about the show. There it is, Roxy Says with 2 eyes. So I will have both of their channels linked in the description box at the end of this. If you want to go check them out, they will have, the recaps of everything. What I'm interested in with this show is the discourse around it because I find it very interesting. I like to listen, media is one of my special interests. It is and always will be my special interest. It has been forever. Like currently there's a TikTok where I was saying, I'm alarmed because I can no longer wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy due to recent circumstances. And you can literally see my head go like this because the next part in it is don't stop. So, but that is how much my life is affected by all kinds of media, whether it be music, television, movies, books. Also, if you are in my Patreon or channel memberships, if you're not in the Discord, you need to get in the Discord if you're interested in the fantasy book club. It's not a book club per se because I listen to so many books. I can probably outlisten a lot of people just because of my job. So I am dropping like reviews in there and maybe like once a month, if you've been able to read anything in there, we can all chat about it. But I have been dropping like little reviews and whatnot of what I am reading currently. I am reading, let's see, what did I say that it was? I don't know the names of anything, but I'm doing it. Listen, currently I'm reading Dark Fae by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti is the word. And let me just tell you, if you're an audiobook fan, I need y'all. If Troy Duran is a narrator and that man's voice sends shivers down my spine. It's too much. It's too much for my spirit. So make sure you're part of the Discord. Y'all can chat in there too. I try to chat in there more because Patreon and the channel memberships don't really have a space for me to like really chat back and forth. I don't really get notifications. And honestly, my Discord is just like always up. So that's a thing. I haven't really been there as much as I'd like to be. I'm just going to keep telling y'all I'm trying, but I'm still working 10 to 12 hour days every single day. It sucks, but also as an RCA, I do end up on a 20/80 list, which is like when you sign up to be a regular, when you bid on a route and you get the route. Not that anybody cares, but I'm telling you anyway. But when you sign up and you get on the route, the big thing here is that they don't allow you to work over 2,080 hours in a fiscal year. And then if you do, they either have to pay you out the overtime or they're like, take all this time off that's paid. So I'm still going to win this, even though my ankles are screaming for dear life. They are crying. Um, I really, every time I take my shoes off when I get home, it's like, in the arms of the angels. Those are my ankles. If you live near me, you'll just hear Sarah McLachlan singing "In the Arms of the Angels" at every opportunity. So that is what is happening. That is what's going on. Hi, Kay. Brisket and ribs making me hungry once again. It is Sunday, which is a great day for ribs, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. Okay? So, Love is Blind. First of all, I want to take you to the fact that Netflix is trying to right the ship. With this reunion, what they tried to do is right the ship. They have multiple lawsuits against them for inhumane treatment, not being able to eat. And there's a lot of discourse around the fact that the show isn't about people finding love anymore. It's just about the mess. There is also the discourse around people just trying to up their social media presence. There's been lots of discourse around Nick and Vanessa Lachey as the hosts. And what we saw in this was for sure Netflix trying to right a ship, because the whole reason that I even enjoyed Love is Blind, if you've been watching it since season 1, I think we watched it as people who like love, and we were hoping, right, that they would in fact kindly, pleasantly give us love. We watch these types of shows that have marriage as the end goal because we want love. We want people to find love, especially in a world where, like, let's be very, very honest, that is very consistently sending us the message that, like, love is impossible. There are no fish in the sea. The sea is just filled with oil and dirt and grime. And then that one really big fish that just doesn't leave you alone with the big googly eyes in Japan, that fish who's just like, what you doing? And we don't want any of those fish. And this is the part. And I love the mess too, Ace. Like, here's the thing. It's not that we don't love the mess. And I need to clarify that, because I think everybody, when we watch reality shows, we love the mess. But on a show like this, we want it to be like a nice little balance of actually finding love and mess. We want both of the things. And when the mess starts to overshadow the love, I think that is where the show has a disconnect with the people who started watching it from the jump. We started watching it because people forget that season 1 had a lot of mess too. Lots of mess. But the focus was still on couples finding love. There's also essay allegations, and that's why, like, if you'll notice in season 1, they did not show a lot of them being in the bed like they used to. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you can clearly see where Netflix, and I should have this on my media channel, but I just didn't want to, so like, it is what it is. Let me live my life. It's because my media channel is about to be dedicated to, like, me breaking down Supernatural and why the ending sucked, and I've already started filming for that, so let me live. Here's the thing. Brisket and ribs, that's the first thing we're going to talk about. Brisket and ribs broke up. Trevor broke my heart, and then he was such a sad sack of shit on the reunion. Pathetic. This actually really bothered me. Because people, I saw on like a Reddit thread that they were talking about, like, why are people feeling sorry for Trevor? I will tell you why anybody feels sorry for Trevor. Because I'm betting, obviously this is conjecture, and for legal reasons, this is for entertainment purposes only. So nobody try to sue me. The reason that people feel sorry for Trevor is because I'm betting you, like, my hands are like, I'm not using my hands as normal. Just side note, because my fingers are freezing. So they're in between my thighs trying to warm up. I am betting you that Trevor went on and he was told that he was going to get to tell his side of the story. I promise you, he did not know he was going to be attacked like that. I promise you, he didn't know that he was going to be used as Netflix's example as to why you can't come on this show looking for fame. I bet you if he'd known that, he wouldn't have shown up. There's a reason Matthew was like, yeah, I'm not coming. There was a reason Matthew said, no, no, I'm good. I'm good. Because he knows how he was perceived. He knows that he looked a little Fruit Loopy. If you, not like, not Fruit Loopy, right? But like Fruit Loopy when he was over there talking about America's going to be on my side. Sir, are you okay? What are you talking about? Go home. I think that you need to have some coffee or a Monster energy drink, whatever it is that the straight men are drinking to like get themselves together. You need that because I don't know what that was about. But Trevor, I really feel that he was sold one thing and then he showed up there and was attacked. That look on his face was not fake. That was not a faked look. Because there's no way he came on there with whatever's going on with his hairline. I understand people have skin problems. I just want to know, there was a part of me that was like sincerely wondering if he had hair plugs in and then like that's why it looks like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's roids, obviously conjecture. Trevor, he wouldn't even look at this channel. He wouldn't look here, but I feel like it's roids. That's conjecture. Again, I'm going to keep saying allegedly. Okay. I just don't understand what's going on there because it doesn't look like acne from acne I have seen on people. It looks like roid rash is what I'm going to say. But the look on his face was absolutely not faked. Like that look was 100% just like him in complete shock that they did that to him. Like, and that really bothered me because those torpedo type moments, I feel like we learned from Sally Jesse Raphael, for those of you who are elderly like me, that you don't surprise people on shows like that. And for anyone who doesn't know what that is, I'm not going to go into it in detail. It ends horrifically. And we're trying to like kind of have a good time here, but he has psoriasis or eczema. Okay. Because like I couldn't remember if he talked about his skin because let me be real honest, my ADHD could not handle most of this season because it just wasn't like they spent too much time in the pods. I didn't care for it. I don't even remember the names of most of these people. Like you'll find out as we go along. I'll have to be like, so-and-so's name? Like what? Her? But if he has psoriasis, then I'm very sorry. And I apologize for talking shit about your skin. I do apologize because we all have issues and problems that like, it's so annoying when people bring it up, you know, like I have a whole brown ass like dot in my eye. My gums are brown, which is normal for a lot of Black people. I have melanin in my gums, but people who aren't used to it are like, why are your gums brown? And I'm like, because I'm Black. I don't know what else you want me to say. Yes, Kay, those surprises have been known to cause violence 100%. So I really didn't like that they did that. Like, it's one thing if he knew he was going to have to like explain that. And that's why he even said like, I had a statement prepared. I don't think he realized that he was going to get like machine gunned with them reading these DMs and stuff out loud to him, to everyone, for him to have to explain. That's why I think that they told him, you're going to be able to explain like your position on the show and like da. And I think he prepared a statement to do just that. I did not think that he knew that they were going to show those up on screen and do a reenactment and make him explain that shit. Like that was, to me, unnecessary and gross. Kathy, imagine asking someone why their gums are brown. The questions I get, like even just down to, you know, the bottoms of your feet are pink, but like, and I'm like, yeah, those are the bottoms of my feet. Why would the bottoms of my feet be melanated, weirdos? Like, what's going on? Like this part, brown, okay? This part, brown still, brown light. My lines are brown. Calm down, autofocus, relax. But yeah, Lucifer, they probably didn't inform him of how he was going to defend himself. He thought it was his redemption arc. Yeah. Like, And Jenny Jones got canceled as well. Like these people, and I think was it Jenny? It was Jenny Jones that did it, not Sally. My apologies. I'm so old that I forgot. Listen, that was a long time ago. But you're right, it was Jenny Jones. There's literally like true crime documentaries about that situation. It was horrible. So like I just didn't like that they did that to him. That's why people feel sorry for him, because anybody who knows anything about reality television, I know way too much about it. It makes me uncomfortable. Like even down to like how scripted actually works for these shows. There are scripted shows and there are shows that are like unscripted. You know what I mean? So like Love is Blind is more of the full unscripted. The difference being anything that they didn't catch on camera, they're going to script for you to redo because they didn't catch it. And then like shows like Too Hot to Handle are quite scripted, and but those people are actually paid to be there, and that is the difference. And I know that people are going to go, they're paid to be. No. I'm talking about paid. There are people whose job it is to do reality TV shows, and they are paid. They make money doing that. Perfect Match is also another one. Like they are getting paid money to be there, even if it's only like $10,000 or $1,000 an episode, like whatever it is, they're getting paid. So yes, that is significantly more scripted, but those people are being paid to be caricatures of themselves. If you go all the way back to even like Laguna Beach, you'll hear, listen, special interest is coming out, you're just gonna have to deal with it. If you go all the way back to Laguna Beach, Kristen Cavallari, who I know is controversial, but back then she talked about how she used to cry all the time because they kept trying to turn her into a villain, which she was not a villain, because everybody knows that Stephen Colletti was into Kristen, not Elsie. And the only time he was ever into Elsie was when he and Kristen were fighting. And that is Elsie's problem for not standing on business and having like belief in her worth. Because listen, he was only there for you when he was mad at Kristen. So anyways, Kristen Cavallari would go back, and she said this in an interview about how she would cry and cry and cry because of how she was depicted like she was the villain in this tale. When she comes back to the hills, she knows what's expected of her, and she ends up embracing being the villain later. But like people forget she was like 16 at the time. You don't know how you're going to be edited. You do not have any control over how they're going to edit you. So how you are edited, you don't have control over that. And I don't think that because like, if you look at it, how Trevor was edited is not who he is. He was edited as like this like good guy with a mullet and muscles who wanted to find love because nobody could see past his muscles, but really he's a player for real. And he came to the show to boost his social media. And that's fine, but not for this show. Like you have to go to a different show for that. The other thing I want to talk about is the discourse that people have around like, well, they're literally casting people by like DMing them on IG. And I feel like these people I know these people do not know how casting works, especially for reality shows. So the reality behind reality TV casting, is that you need to have people who want to be on a reality show, and you need to have people who understand social media. There's a lot of people who are going to sign up for this show really wanting love. That's fine. Obviously, that's the point. But they're also more likely to leave if they're not prepared for the cameras and for all of the social media shitstorm that can happen. So of course they're going to like DM people in the area that they see could be on the show, who understand social media, who understand and would be comfortable with loads of cameras in their faces. They're just like not gonna want people who are going to be more likely to be like, ooh, this is too much and leave. Because that's happened on multiple reality shows where people have either left or some people have just been boring. Like if you go back and watch like the first 5 seasons of The Real World, there's generally, especially between seasons like, actually all of them. There's always one person who you don't remember was on the show. If you go back and watch it, like who's that? Because they didn't want to be on camera like that. They were like, oh, this is more than I bargained for. So they just like were hiding. In later seasons, you'll see people just like like left and went home because they were like, And when you're filming a reality show, the money that is saved is in that you're not paying people, but it's not like they're not spending money. This is another big part of it that people just don't understand. It's not like they're not spending money. The only difference is they're just not having to pay like they would a regular television show. But it costs money for all the equipment, lighting, the camera people, like all of that shit does cost money. So they don't want you to get on the show and then leave. Yeah, Chelsea appears to have been incredibly edited too, based on the interview with Chelsea. Not a huge fan of Jimmy and Chelsea, but explains a lot. It does. And this is why there are people who are currently fighting in the lawsuit to be able to have like reality shows show what's kind of edited versus what's not. Because when you have zero control over how they're going to edit you, and that's the problem with a lot of these like romantic, like true, it's going to end in marriage reality TV shows, is that you don't get to choose as you would if you were going to be on, Too Hot to Handle. You don't get an option being like, ooh, don't put that in there. If you're on the Kardashians, like there's a reason that their reality show, we know it's not real, right? Because they're getting to choose how they're going to be edited now. It's their show. So they get to choose and pick how they're going to be edited, what's going to be in, what's going to be out of the show. But when you're on a show like this, you don't get that option. You just have to sit there and like see how it plays out and realize that you can go back and watch the one with Zanab and Cole. You can immediately see the moment that Zanab realizes that she sounds extremely insecure and she's beating Cole down for having a natural reaction. And listen, y'all can be mad at me if you want. I'm toxic. I don't give a shit. But I didn't see anything wrong with Cole saying like, this person is more physically my type, but Zanab is more emotionally my type. And if there was some way for them to just like be the same person, that would be awesome. Because this show is a weird thing. This is an experiment. So trying to put this and encapsulate this into your real life experience is like, I don't understand it at all. How would you even say something like that? It doesn't make sense to try to bring that into real life, because that would make sense for him to say on an experiment. He's in the middle of an experiment. I didn't see anything wrong with it. He was just expressing how he felt. You can clearly see the moment she realizes that she might be edited weird. And that's when she starts this weird like campaign to make him look bad. Like she just very consistently from that point forward is like just always turning things around on him, making him look like he's a terrible person. And all of her attempts for me when I was watching it, I was like, I don't know why you're acting like this. He's like literally trying to be nice to you. And you're just like so mean. Like at the end of it, when you just did your whole weird speech, like when he genuinely thought you were going to say yes, and you just like ate him the fuck up at the wedding, and he's just standing there like, what the fuck just happened here? You see that, and if you pay attention to that season, you will see it when it happens. You will see it click in her head where she realizes like, I might be edited weird. And then from that point forward, strives to make Cole weird and look bad. From that point forward, tries to make it look like he is the one doing things. She's trying to like reverse everything. And even when she's like, no, show this, they show it. And I'm like, girl, it's not showing what you wanted to show. Peppy, yeah, that's a normal reaction. Would I still smack a bitch for saying that to me? Yeah, but I would understand. Same. I feel a lot like people are not, and I've done this too. I finally had to like divorce real life from this show, because I am on camera in a live saying, if you told me that you loved me in 4 dates, I would be out. However, that's real life 4 dates. So in real life, 4 dates might be spread out over an entire month. And in that time frame, you are able to chat with your friends and talk to them about your partner and who you're seeing and what's going on. You're chatting back and forth to this partner. You're going to work. You're having all these other things that you're doing. You have all this other stuff outside of dating this person. However, In this experiment, all you have to do is literally fall in love. That's it. That's all you have to do is fall in love. And of course, you're going to fall hard and fast because human emotions are very weird and interesting. So, of course, you're going to fall hard and fast when you have no other stimuli. You can't watch TV. You don't have a cell phone. You can't read the news. All you have to do is fall in love and talk about falling in love with all these other people. Like, you have nothing else that you can do. So, if we talked and the thing is, these 4 dates are often, they've been talking for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. So let's just say 3 hours. You've spent 12 hours talking to somebody about your likes, your dislikes, your fears, all of this shit. Of course, you can fall in love and they'll be like, oh my God, I love you. Like, that's just like logic if you like break it down. So when you divorce, what real life, your real life dating experience would be versus being in this experiment, you have to realize that a lot of the things these people did, of course, would seem shady AF in real life, i.e. Sarah Ann. I'm sorry. I don't think she did anything terrible. I think in real life, actual dating, where we are spending time with somebody and you have a fiance and you actually dated this person face to face and then y'all broke up and then you see that they have gotten engaged and then you slide into their DMs. Yes, that is awful. That is a terrible behavior. But in this experiment where you have tons of unresolved feelings for someone you didn't even get to see before you broke up, and now they're engaged to someone else, and you quite literally don't get to have a conversation with them about that breakup. You don't get to have anything. You just have to sit there and be like, okay, because how do you move on? Now, here's what I'm going to say. I know people are going to be like, it's your responsibility to deal with your feelings. But in your regular everyday life, when you break up with someone, like y'all mostly, a lot of times you're going to do it face to face. I know some people break up by text, but y'all are still back and forthing it, being like, and there's stuff that you can resolve from there, right? On this show, most of the time, people are just like, I just feel like, I have a really strong connection with you, like but my connection to somebody else is stronger. And that's the end. That's the end. You don't really get to experience anything after that. It's just over. Like it's just over. So now how is she supposed to like decide she's going to date again and all that without at least getting that resolved and at least being able to be like, this is it. And when did people expect that she was supposed to do that? This is the question that I have. When did anybody expect that she was supposed to at least attempt to have those feelings resolved and handled? Would it have been through DMs? Was she supposed to go to the barbecue and then take him to the side and do it there? Because I promise we would have like lost our minds being like, girl, he is literally here with his fiance and you're over here trying to resolve your feelings. And when was he supposed to do this? Now, keep in mind, I am talking about the show, not everything that happened after it. That is the other thing. All the things that are happening on the blogs and the Reddit threads and all of that. I'm not talking about Jeremy's alleged abuse. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the show and what we saw. So because a lot of people, on the blog, I'm like, I don't care about that because that's not what I saw. And all of that is alleged at this point. Like I can't be making allegations against people when I don't know what is true on any of that stuff. Like all I know is what we saw on the show. That's what I'm going to stick with. Bethany loves eyeshadow. Hi, Bethany. I too love eyeshadow. I do feel like some people may fall hard and fast because they want so badly for the experiment to work and they have it in their head that this will be the way that they meet their spouse. 100%. Brisket and ribs. Sarah Ann had no choice at any empathy from me when she identified herself as a conservative American patriot. Sorry, not sorry. Listen. Same. And that's why her and Jeremy deserve each other. But The thing is, Lucifer says, the thing is, Sarah Ann apologized. The girl only to be two-faced about it. She said, disregard the relationship because of the experiment, then the same logic can be applied to her closure. Well, yes, I think that at some point you just start saying shit. I really do. I will say, not in just her defense, but in a lot of people's defense who have been on this show, the amount of hate that starts getting spewed at them. This is why I could never be on a reality show, because the amount of people who are sending you death threats for being on a reality show is just untoward. Like that, it actually starts to border on full-on insanity. I don't think anyone could handle that, especially because when we were talking about earlier, the edits. The way that people will edit you, you don't have a choice in. I don't like Shake. Terrible human being. I don't like how he treated DT. He had the right message. It was the wrong person. He is correct in that love is in fact not blind. Also, they're using that phrase incorrectly. But I'm like, they're using that phrase incorrectly. But like, yeah, Zach and Bliss are the example of how to do it right. Yes. But kind of. Because you could also see that Zach just wasn't really feeling it with Irina. And Irina was being mean as shit to Zach, which is what prompted him to be like, yeah, we just need to end this shit, right? Yes, he ended it beforehand. What we forget, though, is on the show. Again, this isn't Jeremy outside the show. This is Jeremy on the show only. We're forgetting that Laura did not get enough smoke because she has been mean as shit to him from day none. She's been mean. And I don't know if that's just how they edited her, but they did not show her being nice to him nary a time. She was mean to him like 90% of the time. She is belittling him in front of her parents, and then he goes out. What do you think is going to happen when you have been engaged to someone who has not been nice to you? You go with your friends under normal circumstances when they were like, hey, this other girl that you broke up with is probably going to show up. You'd be like, yeah, I need a ditch because I really love my girl and I don't want any problems. Or you've been belittled for literal weeks. And they're like, hey, that girl that you said no to, she's going to be here. Yeah, I'm going to talk to her. I feel bad. My feelings are in the trash. The way that this Laura keeps going, like, nobody was protecting my heart. I'm like, you're mean. You are mean. Based on the show alone, I can tell you that you are single because nobody will ever do anything right for you. Not ever. You're also going to take zero responsibility for anything that you do. Like, if you pass gas and your partner doesn't immediately take ownership for it because it stinks, you're just gonna be like, they're such a jerk. They're so rude. Like, I just didn't want people to know it was me. And I don't know why you wouldn't just like take one for the team. Damn. Like, that is the energy she gives off. She has never been nice. And I can't feel bad for her. I cannot feel bad for her. I can't. I'm sorry. I told you, ew, I'm toxic. I will never feel bad for her. I cannot do it. There's nothing in my spirit that's like feel bad for Laura. Laura was so mean from the moment she dropped and saw him and realized that she didn't think he was cute, even though she said you are handsome. She did not mean that. Like, look at her. She's like, like she did not think he was handsome. She was mean. She was always mean. He apologized at the beginning of this shit for what? I looked at this like, Jeremy, are you okay? Why are you saying sorry? You didn't do anything wrong. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, is anybody else watching the same show? Like, she is mean. People need to seriously chill. It's not that serious. And he still picked her. He should have chosen better. Like, yeah, she was mad about his Hawaiian shirts. She was just like, well, everybody I've ever dated, like, I'm always like smarter than them. I'm the one who has to build everything. And I'm like, are you? Or do you just never let anyone do anything for you? Because as a fellow person who does the things where I'm like, ugh, I'll just do it, that's on me. That's on me. That, like, your need for things to be done a specific way, I understand it, but I promise you, you can't get a relationship with somebody behaving like that, because they're just going to quit trying to do things for you because they know nothing is gonna. I mean, in my case, the reason it's not even just the arrow ace part that why I'm not in a relationship. In my case, with regards to relationships, it goes like this. When they're like, Audra, how do you feel about me? I'm like, how do you feel about me? And they're like, I love you. And I'm like, I love you too then, because I mirror your feelings. I don't love you. I'm mirroring how you feel about me. Do you really like me? Then I really like you too. In your presence, away from you, can't stand it. Please leave me alone. But like, Laura was literally never a nice person. She was never nice to him. So to me, I'm not saying anyone deserves to get cheated on at all. But what I am saying is I'm not surprised by the results. I'm not surprised that after being belittled for weeks, and then you have an opportunity to go out with the guy friends and have an opportunity to talk to someone who at this point you've seen them on Instagram and resolve those issues and see if you really made the right choice. I'm not surprised that he took that opportunity. Why would you not? Why would you not? Because at this point, you're like, I really do think I've made the wrong choice. And I don't know what to do with this now. I feel bad. I'm feeling really stupid for having made this choice. I actually do believe the both of them that they did not do the things, Sarah Ann and Jeremy. And here's why I'm going to say that, because if Netflix had footage of that, I promise you they would have shown it on the reunion. They would have shown it. They would have shown that. Promise. I guarantee it. Because people think that like when they're doing these outings or whatever, that Netflix isn't filming. Like they're filming, they just don't have the full crew and all that stuff. That's the biggest difference, is like when they're quote unquote not filming or like not getting stuff on camera. Excuse me, there was a lot of snot in there. Sorry, it's allergy season. It's typically like maybe one person is filming, and that's oftentimes why they're not getting something on camera, because they just have like one person. So like, listen, Danny, he took the opportunity and he shared the opportunity with Jimmy. Period. If you can't, this is an experiment, and the experiment is in fact, can you find love without seeing someone? And for some people, the answer is yes. Maybe not with the person you picked, but you can still find it. So like, I won't be on Laura's side. I don't like just try to talk about people not being girls, because baby, please look in the mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Because I know of all people there, you're not talking about being a girl's girl. Because again, Netflix trying to right the ship by being like, oh no, we're not going to allow people to be on here to advance their social media profile. Jimmy was correct to call Jess out on trying to get sound bits. Sound, is that the word? Sound bites. That's the word. I was like, I knew it was somewhere. Sound bites. Because who would say that you're gonna need an EpiPen? Who says that? Nobody says that in real life. Like, I feel like she prepared that speech and wrote it down. Yeah, they also don't follow them 24/7 because the crew takes breaks, which is why they cast to reenact the things like Kenneth break. Yes, like the crew does take breaks. And then there are also places where they can't go in with cameras. So like there are a lot of bars, especially these days, because of reality TV shows that will not, unless you have that set up, you're paying, you're doing all of these things, they won't allow you to film in a lot of bars, because one, it can make their bar look bad. Two, other people, like the other patrons, don't want to come in, because I wouldn't go in a bar if I knew that they were filming. Like that, if you go back Jersey Shore, there are a lot of people who talked about how they did not like it when the Jersey Shore crew was there, because they couldn't just go out and have fun, because like there's cameras, so you could get caught on camera, and you basically, if you want to go into the place, have to sign a waiver saying that you're aware that you might be on camera, because they can't blur properly when there's that many people. I don't know if you've ever seen them try to do that, like especially back in the old days when there's a ton of people. It's really hard to try to blur the people in the background and keep the focus like after the fact, because like even with you trying to do autofocus or trying to do main focus, cameras will do what they want at times, and it's still like if somebody else is like pulling more light or more, it might try to pull them. So like you generally have to sign a release so that they don't have to worry about trying to blur everyone. So yes, they're like, it's so much easier. But a lot of bars that because that's a lot of money that they're losing out on, you know, if they're allowing camera crews and all this, like people just don't want to go in. I don't want to go into a bar if they're filming. So like Jess's EpiPen speech also really felt to me like she was obliquely shitting on Chelsea's appearance. Didn't love that. Thank you. And I'm still going to keep saying Chelsea herself never said that she looks like Megan Fox. She said people say that, and I believe her. And the reason I believe her is because she probably gets told that in a bar when she is drinking, and it's often like this. Right? So I believe her. I'm not going to clown her for that. I feel like it's so sad that so many people clowned her for that, being like, Megan Fox, she didn't say she does. But that brings me to my next point with Netflix trying to right this ship. Y'all need to make sure, Netflix, that people are not allowed to talk about in any way, shape, or form how they look. Thanks. Because as soon as that conversation started, producers should have came out, be like, hi, y'all can't talk about your appearance. Because this is supposed to be Love is Blind. Again, still using the phrase incorrectly, but this is supposed to be Love is Blind. And the fact that she said that, like, I don't think Jimmy would choose Jess anyway, because he did not want to deal with a child, which is fine. He shouldn't have to. If you don't want to be a ready-made dad in basically 6 weeks, got it. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that Chelsea is pretty when she's not whining. And that's what that's what made her unattractive to me. Yeah, Lucifer. Zach also told Irina she looks like Megan Fox. And at this point, Megan needs to come for an episode or promo, period. And be like, no. In this experiment, you shouldn't be talking about how you look at all before you actually see each other. And if that's what they wanted, if they really wanted to do, because the spirit of the phrase love is blind is not inherently about looks. It's about like characteristics and things that somebody has that you overlook because they're so great that love is blind to the character flaws or defects that a person might have. Character flaws, defects, right? Like if you're dating somebody and they're like super goofy and people are like, oh my God, I could not deal with that. And they're like, girl, love is blind. I like his goofy ass. That's what they're talking about. It's not inherently based on looks. I get why they're using the phrase, but they're still using it incorrectly. It really bothers me. So also, the concept of superficiality that people don't get. Superficial, for when we're talking about dating, is the fact that you only like someone's appearance or what they can do for you. That is superficial. That's because those are the only things that matter to you. So either you're like, you have to look like X, and if you don't, I won't date you. Or you have to have money, and if you don't, I will date you. I won't date you. Those are superficial reasons. Wanting to be attracted to someone along with everything else isn't superficial. That's kind of why I sometimes hate the premise of this show, because physical attraction is important. It is important. And anybody who tells you otherwise is like lying in your face. They are lying to you. Whatever you find attractive, Adrian Brody, Tilda Swinton, you need to have that, Tim Roth, in your life. If the person doesn't, if you don't see them as like, if Tim Roth were to appear right now, I would likely throw my Aero Ace out the window to ride that man's face with reckless abandon. Probably information you did not need to know about me, but you know it now, and I am not sorry. So sorry. Glad that's not showing up on the screen with so that y'all aren't. Whenever I get that fixed, I'll feel like such an amazing person. I don't know what I have to do to like refresh all of my stuff, but okay, brisket and ribs. Listen, you're on my business today. You are hitting my next point. But the show also only casts conventionally attractive people. You kind of can't lose unless you have a very specific type, and then you wouldn't go on this show. Now I'm seeing the comments come in about the airways. My Lord. Listen, like a cowgirl, okay? With the hand up and everything. Like, wee! Like, it would be epic. Anyways, back to brisket and ribs. There's also the complaint that if they were really trying to do Love is Blind, then they wouldn't only cast conventionally attractive people. They would invite plus size people. They would invite unconventionally attractive people. And to that I say, no, don't do that. Don't do that. As we have learned multiple times on reality shows, if they're going to cast plus size, it's typically going to be a plus size person and a woman. And I can't speak for the plus size community, obviously, but I can just say that as a Black person, no matter how much confidence you build up inside of yourself, no matter how many of those insecurities you overcome, I just cannot imagine being the only plus size woman in a room full of straight size women competing for a man. I do think, this is obviously my opinion, that any insecurities that you might have or that you had overcome will come rushing to the forefront because of the kind of environment that you're in. That's all. It's different than hanging out with your regular friends, like all of that stuff. I don't want them to do that. The internet is mean as shit. People are hateful to these people that are conventionally attractive. What do you think it will look like if they add unconventionally attractive people and plus size people onto this show? And again, it will be one person. It will not be multiple. It will be one person. And they will have to just deal with all of the internet shittiness. Like, AD is absolutely stunning, and there's discourse on whether or not she's attractive. So, no. Please don't. If you're unconventionally attractive, no. It would, because again, it's just going to be one of y'all. They're not going to put multiple, and again, they will almost always put that on a woman. And the reason that they'll put it on a woman and not a man is because the idea is a man can get someone anyway, right? And a woman, obviously, as we've seen throughout this season, a lot of these women are so desperate to be married, they would overlook it. Men will not do that. Kay says, I'm large. I'd be terrified of being filmed eating. Listen, I never want to be filmed eating because I need you to understand that I eat as if they're going to take the plate from me. I am hunched over, shoveling food into my face. It is not pretty. I'm not going to talk to you. If you are talking to me while you're eating, all you're going to hear is me going, like I'm doing this. I am around the plate. There is food all over my face. I do not want to be filmed eating ever. That is one of my worst nightmares, is that somebody would film me eating. Please don't. Because like I would like to say that I always chew with my mouth closed, but I am often extremely hungry. So by the time I'm eating, because of the job that I do, and also the neurodivergencies that make it to where the signal doesn't really show until like I have an ocular migraine sometimes. So I don't, please don't film me eating ever. Nightmarish. Brittany loves eyeshadow said, I do wish we had some more unconventionally attractive people on the show. People sign up for this now, assuming they will be dating models based on the show's history. Yeah. Ace, LOL, I hate it here. Lucifer said clay eating. See, oh my God. 93 Red said, also, there's a small number of jobs you can have to be on one of these shows. They never have a wildlife biologist, just saying. Yeah, all these jobs are like weird fake jobs. I've said this before, but like, and I don't mean like that the jobs are actually fake, but it's just like sales executive. And it'll be like real estate number modeler. And you're like, what? Excuse me. They'll be like marketing broadbent, and you're like, what does that mean? What are these words and why are they put together? So like that is another reason why they for sure do try to cast people from using IG, because it just makes more sense to try to cast people who are familiar with and understand social media and understand that like how this could impact their real life. Because like, again, it would be, yeah, exactly, Lucifer. Season 2 cast got called the ugliest because they look like average folks. Like we have to admit that we watch these shows because we want to see like pretty people being petty. Kay said, yo, say made dinner for my new partner. I'm his first ever partner. We legit spoke about fear of eating around a partner. He had a bit of that too. Real good discussion. Yeah, I just don't like anytime, especially and specifically when a man is like, can I take you out? I'm like, no. I eat a lot of food and it might make you uncomfortable. I'm going to have an appetizer. Okay? Do y'all hear my stomach screaming right now? I am hungry. I'm going to have an appetizer. I'm going to eat my plate. And then I'm going to reach over to your plate because I'm a monster. Then I'm going to take dessert home because I want to like not just mug down on it in the privacy of my own home. I want to get the cake all over my face privately. I don't need you to see that part too. You know where those jobs are wild though? Home renovation shows, because I know for a fact that with those jobs, they don't have the budget. Yeah. And these kinds of shows do ruin people's lives. It's why they end up doing reality TV as a job. And I don't say that to be like, funny. I say it because obviously it's very difficult to go from having been on this show to like going back to your job. Your job is just like, we don't really want you here, especially if you were perceived poorly. If you were received poorly from the audience, they don't really want you there and you can't get a job anywhere else. But yeah, I mean, I think that people really forget that Jess was really very much on the tip of trying to get her sound bites, trying to get her thing. Like the fact that Jimmy brought that up and she was like, I don't appreciate it. I'm like, but you did though. You did that multiple times trying to like be cast. This is a jumping off point for the people who aren't actually going to make it down the aisle, i.e. Clay, because I still don't understand what his deal was. This obviously shows that the casting is not being done properly, for sure. Because the fact that Clay was there and his whole thing was just like, I didn't understand that marriage was that serious. Like that is the premise of the show. It would be like going on to get like for the that Nickelodeon slime and then being like mad when they slimed you and being like, I mean, I just didn't think that I was going to get slimed. What? That's the whole point. That's the whole point. The whole point of the show is that you fall in love, you get engaged, and you get married. This isn't find a partner to spend time with. This is fall in love and get married. So I just don't understand what you were doing there. Please hold. It's my mom. Sorry. But so it would be more fun work in progress if they didn't have to get married at the end, but I think that that would defeat the purpose. Cuz the purpose is that the people who are on the show have felt like online dating is a problem. And I agree. I think we're seeing a lot of Gen Z moving back towards meeting people in public places and just dating like we used to have to date in the 90s and the aughts, the early aughts before um, swiping became a thing. Because I think people do forget that before swiping was a thing, like this was on the computer. You had to get on your big ass desktop PC. You remember where it had the big old booty on the screen? The screen had a big booty. And you had to get on your desktop. You had to, take a picture of yourself. You had to scan the picture to a floppy disk. You heard me right. Then you had to like fill out this portfolio, because I'm going to call it a portfolio instead of a profile, because the amount of information in there, it was a portfolio at this point. You had to fill out all of that so that you could get matches. And while you were filling it out, you were waiting for your photo to upload, which was going to take anywhere from 3 to 14 days. And once it got uploaded, you then had to wait for Match.com or eHarmony if you're Christian to approve your photo. And then you would like talk back and forth to people for real. And then you would go on real dates and actually meet people. And it was nice. Now I think that you can't be given a lot of choice like that, like unfettered choice. I think it gives this illusion that there will always be someone better or someone else. And that means that you generally don't give the person that you're talking to right now a good chance, or even a chance at all. And I think that this is why you see a lot of, listen, I don't like men and I don't like to defend them, but I think that this is also why you see a lot of them get angry and upset when you're not responding immediately, because they're already having trouble. There's like significantly more men on these apps now than women. They shouldn't act like this, but I get why they're getting so angry, because they're just like having such a hard time even finding real people on the apps, because they're now getting spammed by OF. And listen, OF girlies, I know you want to make your money, but like, don't do that. Polyamorous people, stop it. Stop catfishing people. Thank you. Like, y'all are ruining these dating apps for everyone. Y'all are ruining them, because even when it first started, like, listen, I'm off topic, but on topic. But even when it first started, you knew when you saw, like on Tinder, just a photo of abs and deep V, and it would be like Troy 41. You knew what they wanted. There was no question. They didn't even fill out the profile. It was just like Troy 41, abs, deep V. If you wanted to get your freak on, you knew that you would match with Troy to go get your freak on, fully aware that that was going to be the case. There was no confusion around that. But now, like Christopher Walken over here, now when you are Ashley, I am in tears because of the accuracy of this description. Listen, but now you get on and there's a bunch of pictures of Troy seeming to be like a normal person, filled out the profile, says they're looking for a long-term relationship, all of this stuff. They're just looking to hit. They're trying to trick you. And then you're frustrated. And the issue again is I personally don't think that people in general are meant to experience romance like this. It is off-putting. The entire point of online dating back in the day was that we started to have a large amount of urban sprawl, which meant that large cities, NYC, Los Angeles, San Francisco, DFW, Houston, people didn't live in the city proper. And the chances of you have this like whole probably 20-mile radius of people that you could be seeing, but you just never run into them because you don't live in the city proper. My stomach is making so much noise, and I legitimately ate something before I got on here, but it appears that I need more. But the thing is, so you were missing out on this huge dating pool because of urban sprawl, and online dating became a way for you to connect with people that you normally wouldn't connect with because you don't live in like this part of the city or this part of the city. Like Dallas, Fort Worth is huge, and there's a 20-mile radius of people that you could be missing out on. And so this was a great way for you to like meet people that you otherwise wouldn't meet. But now you're just swiping, and also it's become content. So it just kind of defeats the purpose of what you wanted, which is to find love and romance. People used to read profiles and would message you about stuff in your profile, and you would talk back and forth and then set up a time for a date and then go on said date. It was kind of to cut out all of this other middle stuff that makes a first date awkward as well. All those things like, so what are you into? Blah, blah. It was to see immediately like, hey, we're compatible in these ways. Let's go on a date and see if this compatibility works in person. It was the first Love is Blind. Janet, I don't remember it being this archaic, but I was probably doing it in 2010. It really was. Listen, I was like 2001. All right. OG Match.com, eHarmony. It was an event to create. Like this was when you had to like pretend that you met some other way because online dating was so taboo. So taboo. Yeah, Hinge is terrible. Like these apps aren't great. So like the point, this does fit in. The point of like getting on a show like Love is Blind is because all of this isn't working for you. You have tried the dating apps, you've tried doing this, you've tried doing that events and adventures, which is very expensive. And honestly, like real life matchmaking, like IRL is very expensive. It works, but it's like super expensive because like Millionaire Matchmaker type shit before she was on the TV show. But like, it's very, very expensive to do like real, actual, like in life matchmaking because they're actually trying to get you on all of the parameters. And then also telling you like things like, okay, you have to let this, and this go because these three things don't matter in finding a person unless you're talking to me, in which case they do. But Yahoo Dating 1991. Yes. Craigslist. Like people forget that like before Craigslist was like Craigslist. Like it had all of these like meet cutes and like all of this stuff. Like people had to find ways to meet. And now online dating has just become like this really weird, like all these apps are weird. People's profiles are weird. The amount of weird catfishing, men who are like pretending, women who are just like not like, listen, if that's not how you look today, this is regardless of your gender. If that's not how you look today, if that picture is 17 years old, don't put it on your profile. That's weird. If all your photos are group photos, don't do that, because I am fully aware that the hot one, it's not you. The one I find attractive, it's not you. You're going to be the one I'm like, oh, no offense. Everybody finds what they find attractive, but I just know that that's going to happen. So like getting on Love is Blind, and those of us watching the show, when we started watching it, was very specific to the fact that we were wondering, like, would something like this work? Because I think in general, dating has become extremely tiresome. And to watch Love is Blind go from like, oh my gosh, this is cute, it's working out, to like whatever this reunion was, is wild. I didn't know why Jess was there, honestly, or why Trevor was there, or why Micah and Izzy were there. Like I didn't understand half of these people being there at all. Why were we doing this in front of a live studio, which is weird. I liked that Vanessa and Nick were asking the hard-hitting questions like we wanted them to, but there are people who weren't getting the smoke that they deserve to be getting. Because I still, like, the whole Laura thing, her not getting any smoke, I was just like, she's over here, like, the fact that Jeremy at that point in time was just like, listen, we're not going to agree, but can we just, like, be chill because we're both here so that we can have a good time? And she was like, no. And I'm like, I did not perceive that as him being like, let's pretend like nothing's wrong. I perceived that as him being like, it's really awkward for everyone else that we're obviously unhappy with each other. So can we just relax so that everyone around us can have a nice time? So that we're not like the focus of all of this ire. Because on the show, Jeremy looks very much like a conflict avoidant person on the show. I'm not talking about his real life once again. I'm talking about on the show, very much a conflict avoidant person. And was very much like, ugh, no, I'm not down for this. Like, I don't want to be here arguing. And I don't like that either in a relationship. Like, I don't like arguing in public with my partner because I find that to be awkward and unnecessary. Like, why are we behaving like this? This isn't a show. Like, this isn't a movie. Like, I'm not into it. Oh my gosh, Kay, thank you. Thank you for gifting it. I love that comes up every time. It brings so much joy. Thanks. Listen, I just started laughing. I'm like, awesome sauceum. I hope it doesn't do it too many more times. That's wild. Relax. Oh my God, it did it again. Okay. I'm like, oh no. Thank you. But I just feel like there was nothing wrong with him not wanting that. I also, like, when people are looking at Sarah Ann at some point just being like, you're not a girl's girl, and then having the nerve to attack her in public and to treat her the way that everybody did, like, okay, I get how you can feel like that, but also y'all didn't have to be like publicly nasty to her. So if you just didn't like her, just say it then, because again, that's going to make somebody act out at some point. Like, that makes a lot of people act out. I've watched a lot of people. I pay attention to the way that a lot of people behave. that will make a lot of people act out. If she consistently feels like she is on the outs with all of the women of the show because they decided that they were going to take Laura's side, it's well within their rights. But obviously she's going to act out. Why would she be a girl's girl to girls who want girls to her at some point? And she never shuts up, which is why I wouldn't talk to her. It wouldn't have anything to do with the girl situation. It would literally just be like, girl, can I get like one word in? Damn. Hi, Panda. Like, that would be my thing with her. I'd be like, I'm just not going to be friends with you because I can't even have a conversation with you that doesn't revolve around you constantly interrupting me. And like I said, yeah, she's been acting out on social media. And I get why, again, I get why she's doing it. I like, are you not entertained? I get it. I get trying to make it seem like all of the public hate for you isn't bothering you when it clearly is. And it would bother me too. I get trying to like while out and do whatever because I understand not enjoying all of the public hate. We see it on YouTube all the time. We saw it with Nick is Not Green at one point, before he put out his real apology, if that's what we're going to call it. But like, what do you expect people to do? At some point, you're going to while out if you're getting that much hate. The same will be said if you're getting a lot of love. If you're getting tons of love online, you're going to be like, you're going to be doing that shit where you're like, thanks for all the support, everyone. I also feel like that Netflix has lost the plot on these people were ruining the entire season. They were ruining the season by like, they should not be allowed to post anything on social media until the show, hi BB, until the show is over. They have to be able, they cannot. It's ruining. Thank you, Panda. Listen, don't talk about it. It makes me nervous. It makes my face hot. It makes me get nervous. Go farts. I felt like almost the entirety of the season, every time episode groupings were out, there they were having like just talking and chatting on like TikTok all the time. And it just got to a point where I was like, y'all have ruined the show. It's not good. Like I don't even need to watch it. Like I just didn't have the joy of watching it because I knew that these people were going to be on a TikTok live posting about everything and being like, well, what y'all don't know is off camera. I'm like, I didn't want to know that is the thing. I didn't want to know that. Actually, I just wanted to be able to watch the show with the context of the show, and y'all are ruining it. You're also ruining the upcoming stuff. Like I just started to feel like, what is the point in having this show if the cast members are going to very consistently ruin it for those of us watching it? And the thing is, it doesn't matter if you don't want to know. If you use any other app, you're gonna find out. If you go on Reddit, you're gonna find, something about it. And even if you don't click on it, like whatever the title of it is, you're like, oh man, TikTok, you have to scroll past. Like it's just, they're on podcasts, buddy. It's very annoying to me. And I'm just like, if y'all are going to right this ship, you're going to have to do a lot of work to fix what you fucked up. Because what we can clearly see is that Netflix started taking the messy route and trying to create storylines based off of like things that were happening instead of allowing those things to unfold organically, which to me brings it way closer to scripted territory than the unscripted, in quotation marks, territory. That's my thing. I feel like at some point we're looking at a show that is a show instead of people meeting and falling in love. Their success rate has been falling. And please note, we barely saw Amy and Johnny. And they were the couple who was like just from the jump together. And I feel like they do that obviously because people are like, oh, well, they're boring because they're in love. But I do want to see more of these couples who are like happy and in love. And the reason I want to see them is like why it's working for them. Why is it working for them? Because I feel like we're missing on the things that they did in the pods that made sense for why it worked. Because I can tell you why a lot of these other couples didn't work just based on the fact that they weren't having the right conversations in the pods. Like Amy and Johnny were talking about having children, their finances, all of this stuff in the pods. When they wanted to have kids, they wanted to buy houses, like their life goals. Other people just seem like they're like, I like to eat chips. Chips are delicious. Chips and dips are so good. Do you like Cheetos? Like, so obviously we're finding out that some people just aren't having good conversations. Their conversations that we are seeing is just like, I like to take you out to dinner and put roses on things. And you're like, oh, so how are your finances? We're not going to talk about that. Oh, so you broke like Izzy. Got it. I do love that Izzy had the nerve to come out and be like, you know, my credit is fixed. It's not fixed. Just FYI. Stays on there for 7 years. He may have paid, but it's not fixed. His credit is still trash. Thanks. 7 years. They're not going to let you off the hook. They're going to ruin your life as long as they can, love. Lucifer said, at this point, they came to the show and lose their mind that people online are weird. This ain't new. This is season 6. Yeah, I even then, I think that people don't realize, again, how they're gonna be edited. Because you don't know, like with this kind of show, like Perfect Match season 2 with Trevor. I don't know if Trevor's gonna be on it. They've been saying that he is, but I don't know if that's true. Like mullets. Thank you, Ashley. I like mullets. Thank you. These conversations are very they're very superficial, and I don't know what's going on with that. But I will always say this: if you don't know how you're going to be edited, then you don't know what kind of attention you're going to get online. That's the problem. Like when you're on a show like Too Hot to Handle, you know that you came here to be X character. So you're going to be X character, right? But on a show like this, you come on, you don't know how you're going to be edited. You have zero say in how you're going to be edited. You don't even get to tell them like, please don't put that on camera. Because even if you do, they're going to do it anyway. So you don't know until the show is like edited and up that they've edited you to look like an asshole. Like, I promise Chelsea is not having a great time seeing the amount of people who are like, oh my God, you're so insecure. You're so insecure. You're so insecure. We don't know if that's how she is all the time, like so insecure and controlling, or if she was just like edited that way for the entirety of the show. Did they only show the parts where she's like whining and saying uncomfy and being annoying and not show any of the times that she just wasn't like that? And so she has to go online and see everybody talking about how she's like this insecure, whiny baby, myself included. But we don't know because it wasn't, we didn't see any of the edits where she really wasn't like that. We only see the ones where she and Jimmy fight. And then she's like, I like how we are right now. I can't do her mouth. She has she has like a full sad mouth, which is cute. She's still cute, by the way. That's just like some people have a full sad mouth and that's just how their face is. And then when she smiles, it's glorious. Yeah, there was a reason why she was insecure. Yes. Controversial take, but this is why I don't get why the astrology girlies try to do readings based on the footage of these people we have, period. Because like the footage that we have of people, like Jimmy comes off to me, again, based on what I saw, and even now, and why the girlies were fighting over him, is because he comes off as emotionally mature. The fact that we are now having a discourse about the fact that people, you know, shouldn't be friends with people of the opposite gender, specifically if they've slept with them, is wild to me, because that just speaks to me of a different form of insecurity that you can't quite name. Because we can't on one hand say that all genders can be friends with one another. And for this conversation, we're going to be binary about it. We can't say men and women can be friends, but then on the other hand, as soon as you're dating them, be like, my man can't have female friends. How do you think that they get to that emotional maturity? A lot of it is by them being able to have friendships with women. I also think that people forget that oftentimes when men and women are friends, they give in at one point or another to the pressure and the way that we have really consistently been shown and taught in movies and television that women and men can't be friends. So we're mistaking platonic love for relationship love, for amorous love. And then we do the deed and realize like, oh, this was a mistake. Let's just go back to that whole platonic love thing. Let's do that. We are very often pushed into these cycles of feeling like our platonic love. I think that's why a lot of people have friends that they have slept with because of that, because we're mistaking and confusing that platonic love feeling for actually being in love, or for thinking like, maybe we're supposed to give this a try because I love them so much and I want nothing bad to happen to them. And then you do it and you're like, oh, this was a mistake. And then you just go back to being friends. If Jimmy was trying to hide something with her, I do believe he would not have told Chelsea about it at all. I also think that the reason he was like, he did not want that on camera is because that wasn't his mess to be talking about, because it involves someone who wasn't on the show. And by on the show, I mean like she was not going to be like on the show. It involved someone else that had not consented to having that information blown up here. She wants to date outside of Love is Blind. She was like, yeah, I'll show up and meet Chelsea, but like, don't air my business out. Mimi Moon Pie says, I don't get how grown women can say they don't want their male partners to have female friends. I don't get it either. I mean, I get that I understand people have their different levels of comfort. But I would also say that I think you're doing yourself a disservice, because if your view is that every woman is coming for your man, then you should also wonder why you're stressed about him straying in any way. Because again, it is on the person in the relationship to remain faithful. It doesn't matter if all the rest of these women around, if they get buck naked and shake their tatas, he should still be able to be like, no thanks, peace. And then that would be the reason that he would be like, yeah, I can't be friends with you because you are crossing boundaries with me and my relationship. You should trust in your man to be able to do that. If you don't, you need to start asking yourself questions about why you're dating somebody who deep down you don't feel you can trust to be around other women. Like that's a you thing. I'm not a therapist. I'm just saying like that's how I look at it. Because anytime I've dated somebody and been uncomfortable with them having friends or friends with an ex, the only reason I'm uncomfortable is because I can very clearly see or feel a vibe. And I'm like, this ain't that. We're going to break up. But most of the time it doesn't bother me because I'm fully aware that that's not what's happening. People give you the information. Also, a lot of times it's because they did not tell me that they used to like, I don't know how y'all are doing it these days. Do you do it like this now? Or are you still doing this? Are we, what are we doing? Like, yeah, like this shit is edited to the nth degree. It's not depicting their actual natural behavior. And that's why I say like you're going to see people act up on the internet after the fact because nobody, like we saw how Shake had a full breakdown is he still banned on Instagram? He had a full breakdown. And obviously, because what he was trying to say, again, don't like how he treated Deep G at all. But what he was trying to say is I still have to be physically attracted to the person, and I wasn't physically attracted. And now everybody's mad at me because, and it's like, no, we're not mad at you because you think looks matter. We're mad at you because you treated Deep G like that and you were talking shit about her to everybody. That was the problem, sir. The problem was never that you felt like you had to have physical attraction. The problem was you didn't have it, and you could have just let her go. You could have just broken up with her and been like, you know what? I think like right here, you and I are great, but I'm just not physically attracted to you. And I think we should let this end. That was the problem. It was never that like, oh, looks matter. That was never the problem. Trax, thank you. So we're doing this now. Okay, got it. All right, thank you. I'm aware of what y'all are doing out there in the snooze world. Because mine is bzzzt. Anyways, I think your response is right on. It's something that if it's something that bothers you so much, it makes more sense to remove yourself from the situation rather than trying to control your partner's friendships. Brisket and ribs, that you cannot tell somebody to pull back from their friendships because it makes you uncomfortable. Your boundary is that you don't like it, and that boundary is for you. Which means if that is your boundary and your partner has friends then you have to leave that partner. You do not control what they do. Again, people keep getting confused on what a boundary is. A boundary is something you set for you. And you say, when I am dating you, I don't like that you have, friends that you slept with. That's something I don't like. I don't like it when somebody I'm dating has, close relationships with people that they formerly slept with. The other person then has the option to say, I do have relationships like that and I will not be letting them go. So I think we should end this, or you end it, but it should not be, you dictating how someone else behaves, because that will end at some point. You making you trying to dictate someone else's behavior will inevitably end, and it will end badly. It doesn't end well. Jimmy seems so boring in the pods. I would have written him off immediately, but I'm delightfully neurotic. So there you go. I'm toxic. Listen, I would have been, toxic take. I would have gone on all the way with Matthew, even with his wild ramblings about America's going to be. I would have picked him just to see where this would go, because I am unwell. All right. I would have been like, this is going to be fun. That would have been me. I'd been like, this is going to be fun. And I'd be like when he started on his America's going to back me, I told you, I'm going to mirror what you do. I'd be like, you are so right. America is going to back you. America's going to be on your side, boo. And when you pick me, America's going to be on our side. Because that's the kind of unwell that I am. This is why I don't date, okay? I'm toxic. I am toxic and I know it. I would have been right there. You are so right. America's going to be on our side. I would have been gaslighting the shit out of this man for the entire duration. And then when we got to the aisle, and he was like all in because I had been mirroring him this entire time. I really would have been like, listen, this has been such an amazing experience and you are so cute and the dick is mid, but I gotta go because I do not want to get married. This was just like a fun little experiment for me to see if I could get you to get here. And I did. Bye, everybody. I would have run off in a gorgeous wedding gown. I would have jumped on a horse. I don't know how to ride horses. All right. I would have had doves like boof, and I would have had the sound playing. This is what it sounds like when doves cry. I am toxic. Toot, 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 as I'm riding away. Toot, 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 toot. That's not how you ride horses, but that's how I do in my imagination. It would have been terrible. And Netflix would have loved me for it. They would have loved me for it. That would have been me. He would have been over there in them tight ass pants, you know. I would have been making the most corn star of noises every time, the whole time, just in my fantasy world. You would have heard me, oh, Matthew. Listen, I have problems. I'm aware. I am aware of who I am as a person. And I think that that is step 1 through 5 of being able to date. That's the motorcycle horse combo. Thank you. I am destruction, and I know that now. Once I really understood, like, oh, I mostly just like mirror people that are dating me, I was like, I need to stop dating. Like, I am highly aromantic. I'm not into it. I don't like intercourse. I don't like any of it. It's gross. The whole thing grosses me out. I'm like, all right, are we finished? Because I got to take a shower and take all the sheets off and wash them and the blankets and the pillows because gross. It stinks. You stink. Take a shower. Everybody wash their bodies. Everybody. Yeah. Wash your body. Yeah, everybody, wash your body right. We had sex, all right. That would be me. I don't like any of this. I don't think I can ever look at you the same way knowing you would have picked Matthew. Listen, brisket and ribs. I am a chaos demon, and I enjoy all of the chaos I would bring. If I was on this season, we'll end it with like what I would have done if I was on this season. If I was on this season, I'd have ate Laura up. Been like, Laura, you a mean ass bitch. I can see why Jeremy don't like you. I would have just told her, why are you being so mean to him? I wouldn't let her do that. I'd have been like, Chelsea, stand up, girl. I know that you think 80 is fine. The fact that people went back, well, Jimmy was like looking at her. Of course, listen, you don't call out how fine someone is. You don't sexualize another woman and then be mad that your man looks. You can't. What's wrong with you? Feffy, Audra, please. I understand exactly who I am as a person. I know this. Of course, I would have picked Matthew. Of course. Do you understand the intense, like, chaos that I would have caused with him? He would have been running around thinking he's a king and he has the best partner. But I am not well. He'd been like, I would like it. I would prefer it if you cook every night. You so right. I'll cook every night. Listen, I promise you, I would have been like Uber eating everything and then like putting it on real plates. And been like, you're such a good cook. Thanks, babe. And no, I would not make the rookie mistake of throwing out like the garbage and like all the wrappers and stuff in our trash can. The neighbors would be like, I don't know why they are always putting their trash in my trash can, but whatever. Listen, I need y'all to understand. I would be like the ruiner of everything. Okay? Destruction. I'd been like, what would you like for me to wear, Daddy? Listen. Been out there like, Would you like for me to walk like 2 steps behind you? Because that's fine. I want you to enter the room first so that everybody can experience your greatness. It would just be a nasty time. Like, listen, everything just to get to the end. Many of my revenge, I'm just waiting for some of those to pay off. Some of them are already paying off for me right now. And I'm like, it took years. But it's happened. Please understand. As someone with Gemini placements, I feel this desire for chaos. Again, I both love you and I'm bombastically side-eyeing you. So your chaotic evil depends on the day. Depends on what we're doing. For Love is Blind, yes, I am chaotic evil. Okay? Chaotic evil. It would have been and everybody would have I would have gotten eaten up on the socials, and all of my TikToks would just me being like, comments off. I can see the appeal for destruction in your eyes. I live for it. Like, if I could stomach all those cameras, oh my God, I would not. Everybody be like, how are things with you and Matthew? Oh my God, they're so perfect. He is so great. I love everything about him. I love all of his polo shirts. I bought him some more. He likes it when I wear like deep V's and like really tight pants. So I always do. He likes it when he comes home and I kneel naked. So I do. He doesn't want me to have a job and he wants me to depend on him financially. So I will. I would just be there the whole time. Oh, how's it? It is so good. The sex is so good. He's so good. He's so good. I can't get enough. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh, but making the right faces for like inwardly. I'm like, oh my God, would you just stop doing this? This is so awful. I'm so annoyed. I'm so bored. I want to eat. Listen, the whole time, everything he said, I'm like, yes, that sounds great. You're fantastic. I love you so much. Yes, daddy. The whole time. And if he's like, you got to call me daddy in public. Okay, daddy. I will do that. We'd be at the barbecue and be like, oh, how are you? Oh, daddy, do you want me to make you a drink? I got you, daddy. Listen, it would be nightmarish. Everyone there would be like, everyone. And here's the thing. All the blogs would be like, oh my God, Audra needs to stand up. Can't believe it. And then when the end came and I like just blew him off and like went off on my horse with doves crying playing and the doves flying, people be like, I cannot believe. The long game on this person. Listen. Listen, it would be, you're already great at masking and unmasking. Listen, you wouldn't catch me slipping the whole time. You would not catch me slipping the whole time. Every time we turn around, I would be serving this man drinks and food, being like, here, baby, feeding him. There wouldn't be, listen. My fave Kate Middleton conspiracy. Listen, I hope she's still alive. And if she is, I hope she has a huge ass now. I actually just think that she's gotten some like work done, some of that tuck work, because the monarchy, if y'all haven't seen Paige Christie's videos on it, go check it out. The monarchy has been getting flamed. Apparently there are like, I didn't even know this was going on, but like there are protests. They're like, we don't need y'all. Y'all spending up all our money, and for what? So I think that she got the BBL. I think she got like she's got lips. I think she's doing all the things. I think she's like, and she's going to come out looking like a new Kate, because Meghan Markle is fly. Meghan Markle is still looking good. Track. Oh, I see this in you because I've been doing this for the last 30, 40 years. So yeah, I don't know why she would be citing things with C, because her name, even if it's Catherine, is it Catherine with the C? Because if it's Catherine with the C, why aren't we calling her Kate with the C? Why are we calling her Kate with a K? Doesn't make any sense. But also, I do think that bald, ugly man that Kate's married to is having his little step outs. Because I hope that it's not anything like actually bad. I really hope that it's not anything actually like violently bad or whatever. But I think he's been stepping out, and I think that they're trying to slowly phase her out because they need somebody more glamorous. But who wants to get with that bald, ugly man? Who? Out here looking like Fry with no hair, like the professor. Oh, I bet that he makes that noise when they're doing it. Oh my goodness. Oh. Ride me. I'm so sorry. Listen, don't look at me. Look away. Panda, I would have watched every episode with Audra again, especially after they rode off into the sunset, because then I would need to rewatch Miss Possible Clues. Listen, Feffy is the same. I think that they are phasing her out to phase in a new princess. I think that they are trying to phase her out and get a new one. Hopefully it won't be like, what is her name? Miss Bitch who showed up after the facts. I can't remember her name because she's just so mid. But because how did you go from Diana to like, but I think that they're trying to get like a hotter one, like a hotter, younger one to show up, because they obviously saw what happened when you get like a not hot version to be with Farnsworth. Camilla. Like, I hope that they don't do that. I think that they're going to get like, I called him Farnsworth. Oh, listen, they're going to get like a hotter, younger version to get with Farnsworth. And she's going to be white, like extra white. They have to make sure that she's like super white. Like, you know how they depict the Fae in movies with like white blonde hair and like the creepy like blue eyes where they're like lasers at you? That's what they're going to try to do, I feel like. Just like you from the Caucasus Mountains of white. So that they can be like, see, we have restored the monarchy. She's going to have a couple ugly children. I'm so sorry. Listen, let me live. Listen, I got to go before I get in more trouble. And I've got to eat something. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. You know what I mean? Because I'm on the way to 13K. That's the number that I want to hit. I just want to hit 13. I will be, forever grateful and happy and joyful that is what I hit. Follow me on TikTok if you want to, but it's mostly just all of my weird, chaotic thoughts that don't make it here. So it's causing problems and trouble. I hope you all had a good time. Again, subscribe, like the live and the video. If you're on the replay, thank you for doing that. I appreciate you. If you made it on the replay and you made it to the end, drop some cherry emojis, because I'd appreciate that. And until next time, I am so pretty and so are you. Thanks. Bye. Feffy.